Talkline Network Radio, America's longest-running Jewish broadcast network, the voice of the Jewish community.
Welcome to the podcast.
You are now tuned in to this episode of our podcast. Today we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field.
Oh, thank you.
Now, please welcome your host.
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And we're back. It's always great to have Mort Klein with us, the National President of the Zionist Organization of America, 32 years at the helm, and doesn't get boring. There's always something going on, right, Mort? Welcome back.
I want to finally have boring times. Stop being so interesting, world. Stop being so interesting.
Ain't going to happen. Are you overly optimistic or pessimistic? We have a ceasefire in Gaza, but we also have a mayor in New York who's anti-Israel. He's in the horizon. He could be the mayor, but it looks like he might be.
Look, the ceasefire has not held. Hamas has violated it 8 times already. They've murdered 2 of our beautiful Jewish soldiers. 3 are critical condition in hospitals. They've already publicly said we're not going to give up our arms, even though it's the deal. Part 2 is they have to disarm, and they agreed to it. And they said they're not doing it. Now I hear that Steve Witkoff is saying, well, they just have to give up their major arms. No, that's not the deal. It's a demilitarized giving up all arms. So no, I'm very concerned about this deal. But also, President Trump said 2 weeks ago, if Hamas violates the deal, we in the United States will support Israel doing whatever it needs to do to crush Hamas. I hold him at his word, but right now he still hasn't done it. Donald Trump, he needs to allow Israel to do what it needs to do militarily to maintain his own credibility so the world cannot call him a paper tiger, and in the interest of trying to get to a real peace. So I am very concerned.
No,
and
listen.
Also, by the way, I have to add this. People don't talk about this enough. 2,000 terrorists were released from Israel. 2,000, 250 of whom are convicted of murder. These 160 of these terrorists who were released are now millionaires. You hear what I said? They're now millionaires. Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian Authority, has paid 160 of them over $1 million because they have murdered Jews.
You're talking about the pay to slave program, right?
The pay to slave program. Why is this on the front page of every newspaper? That the Palestinian Authority has paid Jew killers, murderers, over $1 million, 160 of them, and the rest of them have gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars. And by the way, today, Mahmoud Abbas praised these killers as heroes of the Palestinian cause. Praised these killers. And when they went to Gaza after they were released, thousands of Gaza Arabs cheering them, thrilled. Is this the people who want peace? If you want peace, you don't want murderers out of prison. You want them in prison. You want them causing any more problems. No, I'm very worried that the Palestinian Arabs, Mahmoud Abbas, the Hamas, the Gaza Arabs, they don't want peace.
And you have now the world saying, and I think even the United States wants the Palestinian Authority to run things in Gaza.
We want Mahmoud Abbas, people who pay Arabs a lifetime pension to murder Jews, people who name all of their schools, streets, sports teams, children's camps after Jew killers, honoring them. It's outrageous. This is nothing but a terrorist regime. You cannot have the Palestinian Authority or the Gaza Arabs running this, and you can't have Qatar or Turkey running this.
They're the guarantors of the peace, right? Aren't they?
They're the guarantors. As we speak, Hamas leaders are living in Qatar and in Turkey, undisturbed by the government there, and
the billionaires.
The leaders, yes, billionaires. The leaders of Qatar repeatedly state publicly, "We are all Hamas. We are all Hamas." And the head of Turkey, Erdogan, has called for Israel's destruction. He said if Bibi Netanyahu comes to the peace signing last week, he won't show up. So we have vicious Jew haters in Qatar and in Turkey overseeing this. This makes no sense at all. This is a terrible mistake. This cannot work.
And also in Syria, Turkey is the one that's really a major force. Iran may not be there, but Turkey is certainly there in Turkey. In Syria. I meant Turkey's there in Syria.
Turkey is in Syria, making moves to oversee and overtake Syria and really control Syria. This is a vicious Jew hater, a terrorist, Erdogan, wanting to get closer, more involved in the Middle East and get closer to the issues affecting Israel. It's very worrisome.
Will Bibi survive now the war is over? Because they're talking about all kinds of inquiries about what happened with the war. Will he, in your opinion, stay in power?
The people of Israel know the war is not over. I wish it were over. When you have Hamas now controlling half of Gaza, the Israeli soldiers have moved away from half of Gaza. Hamas controls it. They've already violated the agreement 8 times, killed 2 Israeli soldiers, wounded.
And they're killing
seriously 3.
Palestinians. They're killing Palestinians also.
They've killed hundreds of Gaza Arabs who want to be in power. These are not Gaza Arabs who want peace. These are not Gaza Arabs who support having a relation with Israel. These are Gaza Arabs who want to take over from Hamas, and Hamas is killing them by the hundreds publicly. I thought Hamas was, this war was not going to end until Hamas is destroyed. Well, Hamas is now controlling half of Gaza. So obviously that goal was not reached. The Israeli people know this. This war is not over. So they're not going to change prime ministers before this war is over. So no, I don't think Bibi's going anywhere.
But where is the world? Genocide in Gaza, right? They're killing Palestinians by the hundreds, executing them in broad daylight. Now they're saying they're not going to do it in broad daylight, they'll just do it at night. But the point is, though, they're doing it. Where's the world cry? Where's the outcry? Where's the moral outrage?
If you can't condemn Israel for any violence, the world is not interested. Where's the world in Ethiopia and Nigeria, where thousands of Arab Christians are being murdered Black Christians are being murdered by Black Muslims in Africa. Somalia, also hundreds of thousands of Black Muslims murdered by Black Christians. The world isn't saying a word about this. Why aren't there demonstrations all over the campuses screaming about a true genocide, attempted genocide against Christians in Africa and in Somalia? No, if it's not Jews, if you cannot condemn Jews, the world isn't interested. This is pure anti-Semitism. It's nothing else.
So let's move a little closer to home. I'm sure you're monitoring what's happening in New York City with Mamdani, who could be the next mayor of New York, who pretty much is running on an anti-Israel platform, and he's getting votes. He's getting 20-30% of the votes for him because he's anti-Semitic, he's anti-Israel. And if he gets elected, I don't think we'll see an Israeli Day parade in New York City. Certainly, Israel bonds and other Israel institutions will suffer from it with lack of investments from New York. So what can be done? Are we losing our grip more?
Look, ZOA, the Zionist Organization of America, ZOA.org, is a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm not permitted to support or oppose any candidates. So I'm speaking now anything about Mamdani as a private citizen, as Mort and Klein, just another American Jew. Yes, as a Jew, I am deeply worried, of course, about a man who has praised October 7th, refuses to say Hamas must be disarmed, has refused to say we must not call for the murder of every Jew on earth. In other words, he wouldn't condemn globalizing Intifada. This is very worrisome. How can any decent person be voting for him? How is it that 20% of the Jews, according to the polls, are going to vote for this monster? And an issue is you have 1 million Muslims now in New York. That wasn't true 10 or 15 years ago. But Obama and Biden brought 2 million Muslims to America. According to the studies that have been done about Muslims, the overwhelming majority are Jew haters, anti-Semitic. So you now have 1,000 Muslims in New York when 10 years ago you had, under 100,000. And of course, virtually every Muslim is going to vote for this Muslim communist. And it's very, very worrisome. I have friends of mine who live in Philadelphia but have co-ops in New York. They put them on the market. They went out of New York now. The only hope is if Sliwa will leave the race. I don't know why he's not leaving the race. He knows he can't win. Why is he staying in the race? It makes no sense to me.
Well, he said he's not leaving, and I believe him that he's not going to leave. That's what I believe.
Why? Why would someone who knows it's 100%, not 99%, 100% guaranteed he can't win, and all he's doing is helping Mamdani win by staying in the race? Why is it? I want to know what pressures he's got to stay in the race, or why is he making this irrational decision, which is not in the best interest of New York City.
But we hope to have him back on the air, in which case we will talk about that as well. We're speaking with Mort Klein, National President of the Zionist Organization of America. You have an upcoming gala dinner. This is a really special event. Tell us about it.
Our annual gala is an extraordinary gala this year. We have the Israel ambassador to the United States, Yechiel Leiter, who's one of the greatest orators, speakers I've ever heard. He alone is worth the price of admission to come hear him. We have Leo Terrell, the head of fighting anti-Semitism under Donald Trump. He's a fabulous African-American who is a major civil rights lawyer. He's going to be there. He's a great man. We're going to have Danny Danon, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations. And we're going to have one of the great fighters against anti-Semitism and Jew hatred in America, and the great fighters against the horrors that have been happening on campus against Jews in America. We're having the head of the House Republican Council, Representative Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik is going to be there, and as you know, there's all sorts of rumors that she's going to be running for governor. So she'll be there. This is all guaranteed. And we have Rita Cosby, who's going to be the MC. And Evil Eye will say a few words, but that's the least important aspect of the dinner.
It's a great event. People should go. How can people learn more information about participating?
Please go to zoa.org, zoa.org. You can get tickets, or call the office 212-481-1500, 212-481-1500. Ask for Alan. The tickets are going fast. It's only another 2.5 weeks away.
What's the date?
The date is Sunday night, November 9th. Sunday night, November 9th. And it's in Manhattan. We don't announce where it is, but it's in Manhattan itself. And once you buy a ticket, we tell you where it is.
Mort Klein, National President of the Zionist Organization of America. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. We got to wake everybody up, because we're living in perilous times, both in the United States and in Israel. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thanks for having me, and thank you for your work in presenting the truth of the Arab-Islamic war against Israel and the West on your important radio airwaves. Thank you very much, Zev, for everything you do.
Thank you, too. We look forward to having you back again very soon. In boring times.
I want to come when it's boring, when we have nothing to say. And we'll just, what we'll do? We'll play music. The heck with the conversation. We'll play music.
All right. We'll solve all the Jewish problems.
Right. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mort. Thank you. That's Mort Klein here on the Talkline Network, really fighting for Jews, fighting for Israel. So much going on. And